Hello and welcome. This is Heavy Business. I'm Aaliyah.
And I'm Curtis.
And today we are here with Blayne Smith of BangerTV again. Hey, Blayne, thanks for coming back on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see y'all again.
It's great to see you too. I was listening to your album research streams. And for everyone listening, Blayne hosts the Metal Monthly Underground. He digs through all of he hosts the Metal Monthly on BangerTV and digs through all of the underground releases on Metal Archives, everything, to find the best new releases and some of the worst. So I was watching your streams and realized you really come across a lot of music videos in your streams. And I think it would be good to get your insight on what's the most cringe and what to avoid and what music videos need to include. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about music video cliches.
I'm probably one of the people that in a select group of people, a very narrow group of people who watches as many music videos as I do every month, like every single month. I am basically the horror, the nightmare futurescape of what people thought MTV was going to turn children into.
It's genius. It's genius. We can start with we'll stave off the white whale for a little bit later, but let's start with horror cliches in music video. Is this overdone, and how do you see it being overdone?
Horror, you're never gonna separate horror and metal because they go together so well.
Absolutely,
and
sure.
A good portion of metal fans are horror fans, and I think it's tricky with the horror music videos because you're doing double duty where you're kind of trying to make a good horror movie in like 3 minutes as well as make good music, and it can go pretty well and be pretty cool, but a lot of times it's just a fat guy in a greasy wife beater chopping up some meat is like what the music video kind of ends up being, where you're like, okay, so he's a John Wayne Gacy looking guy and he's got a butcher knife and he's near an ice cream truck, and you're like, oh brother.
The ice cream truck, oh man.
One of our clients did this, so I'm not going to say.
Curtis, you're the one that brought this up, so he added this one to the list.
Actually, you know what? I wanted to ask you about, just in regards to the horror thing. What do you think about the Ice Nine Kills 30-minute fucking videos, which I hate?
Luckily, I have not experienced that, because usually I just see Ice Nine Kills and I go, thanks for coming out. Nice to see you. Next.
Fair. So you've never sat through like one of their 20-minute.
I have not. I usually one of the fun things that we get to do on the show is that I have to use it sparingly on my show on Twitch, but the almost immediate close is a great comedic effect. Like something being open for 3 seconds. I can't do it very often. I have to save it for very precious moments. But the opening something, just seeing one still imaging, going now close, gets, it's a good classic comedy gag.
Fair enough. I just wanted to find out, what do you think are some good horror videos then?
I have such a bad memory for things, because really I consume so many that they all kind of blur together. The thing that I think a lot of people should think about is that the thing that kind of makes a music video good in almost every case, but you can especially do it in a horror situation, is that it's not so much about effects or actors or anything like that, but location is really a very big thing for making a quality music video, is finding a cool location that just looks visually interesting. And the nice thing about locations are obviously very expensive and involved to get a cool one, unless you're trying to make a metal or a horror video, then you can just go to a place that's been abandoned, and you can make some pretty cool stuff. There's actually in Ontario, I think relatively near to where I live, there's like an abandoned water park that I've never really seen anyone use. You know, I've seen some abandoned theme parks in some like BMX and skateboard videos before, but there's people abandon theme parks, like not obviously not Six Flags scale, but people just straight, sometimes they don't work and people leave. And generally theme parks are built in places where land is cheap, so there's nothing around it, so they can't sell it, so they just go bye, and you've just got a bunch of slides and stuff with overgrown what's this, you know, vines over everything, and it just, you know, it's a scary place to be. Even just there's a kind of novelty of just going there on your own and being like, oh, this is kind of spooky.
Yeah, I think it's like more expensive to tear that stuff down than to just leave it up, so that's why it stays up.
Yeah.
But speaking of locations, can we go like into some of the most cliche locations that you see in videos?
Yeah, the forest. I mean, obviously the forest can be made with some great videos, but the forest is definitely going to
It's one of the
things.
easiest ones, so it happens a lot. Right. You don't like, a lot of people got a forest that they don't have to get a permit for, so
yeah, the forest is one that I see a lot. That we will lead in. We'll get into some of the things people do in the forest later on. But yeah, the forest is always a little bit, and it's kind of a cliche, but in like one of those good cliches, I think, is any sort of like industrial, like factories or warehouses, sometimes abandoned, sometimes ones that are just like, you know, if a factory doesn't operate 24 hours a day and you contact a factory and say like, hey, can we pay you, you know, X number of dollars to shoot when the whole thing's fucking closed, we want it to be dark. You know, there's certain things that people don't think about, like ways kind of around music videos being expensive. So you do see a lot of them in factories, but frequently, I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, we got that interesting location I was talking about. There's some big, cool machinery. There's metal everywhere, literally.
Yeah. I guess this could be kind of related to location. So what about the live footage music video?
God.
The live footage music video, it works very well for a very select group of bands. If you're gonna have a live music video, you should probably make sure your shows are crazy. Like, you know, you can shoot with a collection of tour footage. That way, if you show up to Des Moines, Iowa, and there's 8 people in the crowd, you just go, all right, you know what, let's leave that one out of the music video, and we got to Buffalo, and Buffalo was crazy, let's put Buffalo in. Or, you know, the hometown show is after a long tour is a good time to do it. But yeah, if you're gonna shoot a live music video, make sure people are going nuts in the video, because if the people that are hearing the music live aren't vibing, how am I gonna vibe as the person on the just watching the music video, where I'm like, I'm just watching a group of people that's kind of bored. Yeah, I will say I do prefer the real live music video to the
simulated.
Yeah, there's a plot to the video, so they need live footage for the plot, but then the people are like your fucking cousin and aunt come out and are pretending to headbang. Like, just shoot it. Just shoot one of your shows. And again, if your shows aren't full, then, you know, don't do it.
Don't do it. Sometimes we see, you know, Michael Jackson did a lot of theatrical breaks and intros in his music videos, but I think some people nowadays get the idea that they can do that, but they don't really know what they're doing. Have you seen a lot of that, or much of that? Like the speaky type theatrical interludes and intros?
I would definitely say a big piece of advice for bands that if you're a band and you know, people don't know who you are yet, you know, if your videos aren't already getting 50,000 views, your music should start the second I press play. Because I out of the weird perverse mental problem I have, will scan through to get to the music in order for the completeness of my show. But if I was doing that on my own, I would just go to 10 seconds, no music, gone. Bye.
Totally. Yeah.
Like
Bye.
every opportunity, you know, every second is a missed opportunity. Someone's gonna turn that off. Like you can, you know, look at any sort of YouTube analytics and see how many people click off a music video in the first minute, even if they're subscribed to the channel, even if they watch content like that. So yeah, just don't if you want to have like an interlude, you know, you want to cut the video in the middle, I mean, still, I'd say don't,
Yeah.
because you're probably not hiring filmmakers of the caliber that I'm gonna want the music video over the music. But if you have to put something in, end, middle, not the beginning, because oh man, yeah, just uh,
I've only seen one band do it successfully that's new, and that I don't know if either of you guys have seen them before, but Werewolves from Florida, or Werewolves rather from Florida, metalcore band. You guys should check it out. That's the only band I've ever seen being able to do that successfully. Just had to shout them out.
Well, I'm not familiar, but I will have to check that out after.
Yeah. Oh, another thing you can do is start playing, you know, have a minute of music, and then if you need to have something, you have the shot and the music's at a slightly lower volume in the background, or maybe, you know, if you're insisting on doing it at the start, have one of your other songs playing like in the background, and then a song kicks in. Just please let me know what you sound like. As a fan, as a professional in any anyway, I don't want to. It drives me crazy when I have to fight someone to listen to their music. You know what I mean? Like, there's times when, you know, an album's coming out in like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm looking it up, and I like, they haven't put a single online, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Right, yeah.
Understand how Bandcamp works. Understand how YouTube works. If you don't have the money for a music video, hey, you know what works great? The album art over a solid background of a similar color with a nice typeface saying the name of the album and the song on YouTube. There's your music video. It's probably as effective as any other music video, to be honest.
Yeah, it's way more effective. You don't got to skip through all the bullshit. So
at least more effective than a bad music video.
Yeah, exactly. Aaliyah, just a quick question for you, because you are the artist here. What do you think is on this subject? Because you didn't really say your opinion
on
the
these
interludes
and stuff?
Yeah, and interludes. Just out of curiosity, because
I'm not a fan, generally speaking, because generally speaking, they're really badly done. Acting is really bad. I understand the desire for creative expression in that way, but you're a band. I would rather you just play the music first.
Fair. Blayne, just out of curiosity too, I'm going a little bit off topic, but I like to do that. Yeah. How do you think it would be that you could successfully do something like a comedy type thing with video, like something like you do mixed in, and have it be successful, so that way people would still want to watch the video for the music, but you know what I mean? Like a stand-up in it.
I mean, comedy is very hard. It's a very hard thing that there's no point getting good at. It's generally what I tell. It's a very hard thing that there's no point doing. Comedy is very hard, and it's very hard to get right. But I will say, if comedy is done effectively, it can basically make all rules like irrelevant. There's the Night Flight Orchestra video for White Jeans starts without music, has interludes and all this shit, and I had not really listened to Night Flight Orchestra before seeing that music video, because it was totally outside of my wheelhouse, so I had never really listened to it before, and it was kind of the first time they released an album when I was doing the show that I did, so I just had to watch it. And I immediately became a fan of that band because the music video was so funny and it made me listen to the music, and the music is really well written and it really all came together. And yeah, again, it's a real tightrope walk. It's a very risky thing, but I will say, if you like, again, it's one of those things where, you know, it takes a village. If you happen to know someone who makes funny content and stuff, get them involved. But be careful about how funny you think you are, because everyone laughs very hard when a band says a joke in between songs because you're good at something else. So they give you grace about being funny. They go, oh, it's funny because I wasn't expecting him to be funny. If you try and make a funny music video, they're judging you on if the music video is funny. They don't care that you play music in that situation, and it's a much higher bar to clear.
Fair enough.
For sure. Well, let's go into the favorite.
Yes.
The woman being chased through the woods cliche. What do you have to say about this?
Oh boy, it is. I mean, I hope bands never stop doing it, because it really, my stream loves it. It really it helps my show.
There's so many variants of it, right?
There's so many variants, but it's funny. Despite there being so many variants, there aren't really that many variants. It's mostly a woman getting chased through the woods. The amount of music videos every single month that are a band nowhere in sight, and just a woman enters the woods. She and we all start placing bets. We're like, there's a woman and I see trees. Is she going to get chased through these woods? There's a woman has appeared. Will she be chased? Will she just exist, or is she going to be chased by a scary entity, sometimes unseen, sometimes seen? Will she be murdered? There's minor variances, but I would say to all bands, please stop chasing women through the woods. Leave them alone. Let women just be. They don't need to be
nature.
Yeah, just leave her alone in the woods. You know, there's minor variances here and there, but I don't think I've ever watched a video or a woman being chased through the woods and I go, well, I was happy about that. There was one, I wish I remembered the band. There was one time where a woman was being chased through the woods, and then the reveal was that it was her chasing her through the woods.
Oh,
Like, I was like, all right, it's not quite as anti-women as it normally is, but still embarrassing and bad.
Why do you think it is such a thing? Why is it what everybody goes to?
I think it's just kind of it's the thing on the lowest shelf. It's the thing everybody can pick up, right? We've talked about woods. You can go and film in the woods. I mean, technically you need permits in most places, but nobody's wandering around these woods looking for youths filming music videos. So you can really just do it. And sometimes people will go like, hey, what are you doing? And they'll be like, filming a music video. And we're like, cool, good luck.
Yeah.
And if not, if you get kicked out, they'll just it's the woods. You can just go back tomorrow or go to different woods. One time near the woods, I put for a video, I put a smoke grenade under a van to make it look like a van was on fire, and nobody said anything. And this wasn't even in the woods. This was by the side of the road, like a path, like a drivable road through the woods. There was a little kind of like rest stop area, and people passed, and they were just like, "Huh, that car."
Oh my gosh, that's the bystander effect, right?
Yeah.
Something could really be going wrong, but nobody will say anything.
Yeah. So yeah, the woods, I mean, the woods are there and they're free. Horror is the the kind of go-to theme for the music video. And well, one of us probably has a girlfriend we can chase through the woods. That's why we started the band, was to get a girlfriend. We did it. Let's chase her through the woods. It's the cheapest, laziest, easiest thing, and that's the main reason why it's so embarrassing. Whether you are a big Jordan Peterson fan or not. There's a whether you're like these women should be traced through the man, whether you're on that side or not. The reason
it's
it's embarrassing
symbolic of something deeper.
is just that it's the lowest common denominator. It's the cheapest, laziest. You didn't put in any work. You didn't put in any effort. And 100 almost a minimum of one a month, I would say, is the average I get on my show. Bands releasing full-length albums with a music video of any budget, one a month minimum. A woman gets chased through the woods.
That is insane.
Yeah. I was gonna say that seems like a low number to me, but
I said minimum.
Yeah, you did
Sometimes we get multiple in a week, and we're like, really?
Really? Yeah. I saw the one where it was a guy being chased through the woods.
Yeah, and we got all excited. Yeah, we're like, yay, equality! Finally, a man gets chased through the woods. Because that's the interesting thing. We all know men as well, but we're not chasing them through the woods.
Why not?
For some reason, it's only women we're chasing through the woods. Men, nah, that's not. We got to chase a woman through the woods. These men are useless. Get these men out of here. I don't know. I don't care how many men I know. I need a woman, and I need to chase her through the woods. Is what all these bands are thinking. No men, man being chased through the woods, completely unbelievable, unrealistic. Couldn't do it.
Not to mention, though, with the being anything in the woods, you can easily get your hands on some stock drone footage to throw in there.
Yeah.
And make it look like you had a budget.
Yeah. I mean, even these days, I would say, yeah, if you, hey, you wanna make a cool music video? I mean, it works better if you're like a certain, you're atmospheric or you're black metal or something, but drones are not that expensive, and there's places you can rent drones. Technically, again, you need a permit for these things, but fly a drone over a section of wilderness. Boom, you just made a music video. Have some nice typeface. Again, just a nice typeface. It goes a long way in things. Futura bold.
Yep, it's a good one.
Just Futura bold. If you don't know anything about fonts, typefaces, typography, any sort of thing, just download Futura bold. It's free. It's the nicest. Make it big. Put it on there. Everybody will be happy.
It's definitely a classic. What about wardrobe choices? I feel like sometimes those can get a little cringy.
Wardrobe choices, yeah. I mean, there's this weird thing, and I as someone that mostly defaults to being European about most things, my mom is born and raised in the UK. I lived in France for a little while. Most of my favorite bands are from Europe, so I'm gonna apologize to Europe for saying this, but dear God, Europe needs to relax with those leather jackets. I swear, the amount of European bands where you're like, no, I understand you think you're wearing a leather jacket because technically you're wearing a jacket made of leather, but there is a difference between a jacket made of leather and a leather jacket. Do not the wardrobe, the amount of bands where it's just like, I've got a leather jacket on, and it's like 4 guys in leather jackets, but all of them are such different styles of leather jacket that these are 4 humans that should not be hanging out with one another.
That's crazy. It is true. It is so true. Like, even though they're all like, yes, there's so many different kinds of leather jacket, like at least have it be the same style of leather jacket. Weird. Yeah.
And I'll say that generally, I mean, if you're going to do something, like if you go with wardrobe is one of the few things where I would say it's better to go too far, because like wardrobe is a thing that's like relatively inexpensive in comparison with all the other things. It's relatively easy to do it yourself. I mean, I'm sure I've got if I just reach over here or something, I've got kits of safety pins and studs and all kinds of stuff. You just spend an evening, you get some beers, you put on a movie, you spend an evening, y'all do up some clothes for it, because I mean, if over the top with clothes is kind of like a nice thing about men. It's pretty rare that I look at the outfits and then I go, well, you went there's too many studs on that, there's too many bullet belts, there's too many, I mean, even a band like Striper, they're all in these matching yellow outfits, and I go, you know what, that's helping them. That's helping them here. So that's one of the few things I think you can't really go overboard with, because no matter how hard you go on wardrobe, it's either going to look cool or it's going to cross over into like trauma film, goofy costuming. That'll be, unless you're going for a really serious, grim band, it's going to be fun and it's going to make me like you more and go, oh, look at that. And it is a thing where you can look at it and go, oh, okay, well, they put effort in there.
Yeah, I mean, I hate when I actually see bands all the time that don't make any effort on their wardrobe, and it's upsetting.
Yeah. Don't wear your own shirts in the music video, please.
Don't do that.
Don't do that as well. Yeah, that's it took me a while to get to it because it's one of those things you take for a given, but then I just remembered it's not a given. Please don't wear your own merch in the music video. It's not good in any way. It's not going to make me buy that merch. It's not going to make me do anything but make fun of you specifically.
I'm sad.
Oh, Curtis, are you telling people to wear their own merch?
I'm not. I think it was Sepultura that did it, wasn't it?
I mean, a lot of bands will do it.
And a big one, though.
Yeah, big bands will do it. And you go like, I mean, did you just grab something from the bus because it was wash day? Like, it's what you have the money for this to not have happened? Why is this happening? You're like, did no one tell Lars that he can't just wear a Metallica t-shirt all the time? But
someone came to the video shoot wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and everyone was like, you can't wear that. You got to wear some of our merch. What you could have done is turn the shirt inside out. Then you got a plain black tee, classic silhouette, stick with that.
Yeah. So Aaliyah, since you've done videos here, so how did you guys choose your wardrobe for your videos, out of curiosity?
It was a lot of collaborative effort.
Put you on the spot here and find out your reasoning here.
That's okay. I mean, we figured out our outfits like well in advance of that, and there are stage outfits. And then for the story sequence with Lara, she kind of picked out her own stuff, and we just kind of approved it. Like, we went through a process where a few of us looked at it and were like, yes, this works. Let's go forward with it. So I guess just always having like multiple voices is a good idea. Don't just do what you want and not get anyone else's opinion.
Fair enough. I thought there was going to be like this big, long, involved process, and I was like curious to hear what that.
I'm not sure I'm not sure like what process you were expecting, but
I don't. So Blayne, I just want to ask you a quick question. So, what do you think about the video? Well, this kind of ties into wardrobe, kind of doesn't. What do you think about like the goofy type of videos, like Electric Callboy type things, where they go over the top with their wardrobe?
Yeah, I mean, look, if your band is the vibe of your band is fun and it's about having fun, then yeah, go over the top. And especially if it's like if it can tie at all into what I will get at the live show, you know what I mean? Like if you're going to kind of go nuts with outfits, like, I mean, think about doing that live as well. Like, make, you can kind of double up and make yourself some video clothes and some tour clothes at the same time, and have some cool stage clothes out of it. And, you can, bundle it all into one budget or disperse it throughout, and, consider the time and everything. And yeah, I would say funny outfits is actually, or just fun outfits or silly outfits or over the top outfits, is like a kind of less committal way to try and make a video funny without having to actually have a sense of humor.
Fair enough. I know we didn't bring this up on the topics, Aaliyah, but I was curious for both of you guys. The big name in metal right now is Lorna Shore. So they kind of got big due to their video. I think they kind of got big due to their recent videos, in my own opinion. Maybe you guys have different opinions on that. Blayne, let's hear your take on their videos, because I think personally that it was a big part of their success, and I'm curious to hear what you think. And I don't know whether you like them or not, but
Yeah, I mean, Lorna Shore is very much outside of my music. It's fun that I do this podcast with you because the two of you, we have and me have very different musical tastes. But
Oh, I have a lot of your same musical tastes. I'm just putting you on the spot, though.
we have it's like a
But
it's like
Curtis
a
loves Lorna Shore.
I do love Lorna Shore. I do love Lorna Shore.
So yeah, it's not my genre at all. But I think a thing that they did that is I tell people to do, which is a very effective way to make a music video that looks good on a pretty low budget is if you can have access to a place, and whether that's wherever it is, again, warehouse spaces, big empty unused warehouse spaces where you can get basically pitch darkness, and you just like rent or buy like 2 or 3 lights, like cool, interesting, powerful, whatever lights. You can make such an effective music video, just a band playing in pretty much just expansive darkness with cool lights, like fucking go drive out of the city and go to a parking lot in a public park of like anything. Just yeah, a very small amount of light in a very dark space. And I think Lorna Shore really used that effectively. And I mean, if it's done expensively, it looks phenomenal. But a lot of times I've seen the videos that I actually come away from with a decent impression from bands that clearly don't have any money are the pitch blackness, rentals, or you can, these big film companies and stuff. It's not like they own all these lights and stuff. If you look it up, there's a lighting place in your city or near your city where you can rent a very powerful, very expensive light for probably very cheap in most cases. And yeah, just get out of the city or go to a warehouse or something like that, and somewhere that gets really dark, and yeah, fucking fire those lights up, and it really has a nice visual impact.
You know who also did pretty good with videos is the band whose shirt you're wearing. I think that they did a great job, Phobophilic, with their 2 videos. What are your thoughts on that?
Let me just double. Let me.
They weren't like super involved or anything. They weren't like high budget or anything, but I thought it was perfect for the style of music that they play.
Well, again, right, like I said, if you can have a performance where you're performing high energy, like like really actually make sure you're playing harder than you do, like really try with the performance. I know a lot of times it can be feel a little silly because the instruments aren't plugged in, you can't hear it, but like try your best to actually feel like you're playing it. And then Phobophilic, I don't know what that fucking room is, but they're in a tiny room. It could have been abandoned. It could have been one of their works. They could have paid someone $500 to come in overnight, and they cramped themselves into a tiny little space in a warehouse or an abandoned something. And again, right, just that tiny little space, low lighting, cool environment, and go, right?
One other band I think we should touch on, Aaliyah, is the Undeath videos. Have you seen those, Aaliyah? You haven't seen the Undeath videos?
I have a day job, okay?
Holy shit, Blayne should talk about. I'm sure Blayne must like Undeath.
Undeath is one of my favorite bands right now.
I figured, yeah.
And yeah, I just saw there. I say that they did a tour last year. It was 200 Stab Wounds, Undeath, Phobophilic, and Enforced. Yep. And in my opinion, that was the best tour of the year. At least, at least that came anywhere near where I could go see it. Just front to back, and hearing stories about the shows on that tour again is makes the videos like feel like, okay, they were effectively communicating. But yeah, the Undeath Defiled Again video, they're just in a dark space, they're performing, and in someone who's good at after video editing made it look cool after the fact. Again, these are videos that have a very big visual impact. And again, you go, oh well, Undeath is like, oh, that's this is a band that oh, they have more money and stuff, blah 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 blah. But I mean, the video they have with the serial killer in the to me has less visual impact than the Defiled Again video, which is them just right, just whoop. This is me pulling it up, which is just like, yeah, you can't really see what's going on. They had a laser and they shot it and they put some filters on it later, and cost probably a fraction of what it costs to make the head splattered in 7 ways video, but it has 17,000 views, and the expensive one has 16,000 views, right? Because I mean, again, it doesn't need to be this big horror production. Just like make it visually interesting in whatever way you can kind of cobble together, and it'll work.
And then they did the Doom video too. I can't remember for which song, but like, fuck, that was amazing in my opinion too.
Yeah,
they just can't. They can't do wrong. Sorry, Ali. I
really on fire right now.
No, it's okay. I mean, you're talking about, I feel like there are certain genres that are just more prone to having bad music videos, and I'm immersed in one of them, unfortunately. Symphonic metal.
Hey, your music video, I saw your music video just coincidentally before it was like a week or two before I was coming on the podcast. And I was not in any way faking this or anything. I'm a straight up moron. There's been times where I've been making fun of a band and then I've realized someone I work with is in the band. Like I'm an idiot. So your music video, we made a lot of jokes, but again, the combination of the music and the video, we watched I think the whole thing, which is not where we normally get to with that style. I'll tell you that right now on this show. The show has certain leanings, and I mean, we were definitely having some fun laughing about. But then you said it was her choice. That your poor tiny little singer tossing around in the fucking river.
She's she's very tough.
But just getting soaked and muddy.
Yeah, we just posted a little behind the scenes video on socials the other day of her getting out, like after it all happened. She was so like triumphant, like, yeah, I did it. But I will say, like, I mean, I watch some other bands in my genre, symphonic metal, and I see a lot of these green screen videos and stuff. So
the Dinosaur Band too.
That's a power metal. But
sorry, power metal. Sorry.
Yeah, there's like a crossover, but like not always. So
I know.
That my advice for symphonic metal bands would be to remember that in addition to your pretty female singer, there is a rest of a band there. is a key to make a good music video. We want to see everybody. It's not 1997. I'm not desperately watching music videos for the hope of accidentally seeing the side of a boob. We're watching them on the internet. If I was looking for boobs, they're there.
Yeah, there's a better place to look for them. More efficient. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
We're down to like needing like 8 minutes, Aaliyah, just so you know.
That's cool. No, I straight up forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, green screen music videos, I was gonna say I feel like those are something that is, it's hard to do it right. A lot of them look kind of cheesy.
Well, I mean, green screen looks bad when Disney does it, right? Like,
yeah, they're only just getting there, really.
Like, when all these active, they're just the other day. I mean, when the mess that was the last Thor movie, Christian Bale was talking about it, and he's like, I don't think I met anyone, and I had no idea. I was just wandering around in green, and I had no clue what was happening. Like, that's like $1 billion productions. So of course, like, you're like, $40,000 music video is not going to look good with a green screen. So unless the purpose of the green screen is let's do something funny and ridiculous with it, I would say skip the green screen. This is totally out of the realm of what we're talking about, but also I think fantastically within the realm I'm talking about. And the Undeath video I was talking about is a perfect example of it. But there's so Elephant Man, as in the the dance hall artist. You know, Elephant Man. He's a Jamaican dance hall artist. He's had you know, he's had success in North America as well, but he's predominantly a Jamaican dance hall artist. So Jamaican dance hall music videos are some of the most fantastic things on the planet. They are wild. They will be made for just with no intention of ever releasing them in the West, and they're wild. Vibes Cartel has a whole YouTube page full of them as he keeps making. I gotta summarize dance.
I'm gonna go look at it. I'm gonna look it up.
Vibes Cartel is basically like dance hall Varg. I don't know. He's a man that is in jail for a murder, and despite not being allowed to make music while he is in prison, has made a prolific amount of music in prison. And they make music videos for the songs, and the music videos are all insane. But anyways, that was just a sidebar to my sidebar. But Elephant Man has a song that uses the Sesame Street theme song as the rhythm for it. It's very strange. But the music video features one of my favorite things, which is at one point, Elephant Man is dancing in front of a green screen, and on the green screen is footage of him and a bunch of other people dancing. So he's dancing in front of a video of him dancing. And then sometimes they switch it, and instead of the green screen, like you can see the green screen and his clothes are where the video is appearing. And so he's just like a head with video of him dancing on his own body. It's like, again, it's this like super weird, janky budget, but kind of visually very entertaining thing, like the Undeath video, where it's like you just kind of make things look weird, strange, and lo-fi, and it really works. Oh, I can't remember. There was a band that had a video last year. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. That again was just like fantastically lo-fi. Shit. Was it Enforced? Did Enforced do one? Was it just one of the
Enforced have done a few lo-fi ones, I think.
Yeah. The Malignance video is just, again, you know, they have videos with a lot more production value, but you know, the Enforced Malignance video it just looks like it was shot on a VX. It super lo-fi. It's just live footage over top of other live footage, but it looks fantastic. It works really well. Yeah, lo-fi, especially in what we do, lo-fi is a good gauze to put over to trick people into thinking there's more going on when you're just covering up like a low quality recording or something. Yeah, buy a, honestly, a great way. Yeah, buy a used vintage camcorder of some kind that takes tape, film a performance on tape in a weird space. Go to one of those converted to digital places, get it converted to digital. I mean, the worse job they do, the better. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the audio quality because it's not, you're playing the actual music, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got a very, very on trend music video for right now.
Yeah, and I recommend you do it that way, not try and make it look lo-fi. Like, don't film on a 4K camera and try and make it look lo-fi after the fact. It's just going to be a pain in the ass. Just do it the right way.
I totally just remembered this. There's one of my other favorite things where, I mean, I can't, again, I'm just ragging on Europe. So because of PAL, every once in a while, I'll just turn on a music video and we'll all get nauseous because there are
the different Europe, frame rates, right?
Yeah, and there's some, I don't know, it's not a universal rule, but you will get 50 FPS, 50 frames per second music videos, and nothing you're used to seeing is in 50 frames per second. Like Hollywood and everything is 24 frames per second. There's also 60 frames per second, which is just a frame a second. 50 frames is this weird European standard that is mostly outdated because it was part of PAL, and PAL's basically gone, and blah 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 blah. But oh my god, does it make me want to hurl. There's just, it doesn't work for your eyeballs. You're like, what is wrong with this video? And then you click the little gear on the YouTube page and you go, yeah, 50 frames per second. That's what I thought.
Well, I know we're basically out of time, but speed round, I want to know what you think about music videos that don't feature the musicians playing at all. It's only narrative or stock footage or something like that. Doesn't show any of the musicians playing. What do you think of that?
Depends on the genre. I mean, you know, if you're a black metal band, yeah, sure, just fly a drone over a forest. Like I said, atmospheric band, fly a drone over a forest. You know, if you're I think that's generally what it best suits to is music that kind of, and you know, atmospheric black metal is where I really like that kind of thing. You know, I could watch footage of someone just driving in the Nordic countryside in the winter as a music video for atmospheric black metal, because it isn't really about kind of the performance in the same way that, say, like a, you know, like a band like Undeath, where it's this, you know, like knuckle dragging death metal is, where it's like it's a little more transportive, it's a little more taking me to a place. And so if you can kind of visually show me the place that you're taking me to kind of sonically, there is something decent to that. And you know, not every band wants to be, you know, there's some private people, there's some weirdos who for some reason didn't get into music to like make friends and romantic partners, and you know, more power to them. Just give me some rolling ocean, I guess, as a music video.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this topic. This was a blast. Everyone listening, I hope you learned something. This was really more like a palling around episode, but I hope you learned something anyway. And until next time, make like a bull and throw those horns up.